إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة دلالة وكل دلالة في النار. أما بعد. After praising Allah Azza wa Jalla Jalaluhu and saying the peace and blessings upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on this blessed day of Jum'ah, we just want to give another reminder. And that reminder is connected to this phrase of advice. And that is, just ride it out. No matter what's going on in your life, wallahi wa billahi, just ride it out. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He mentions to us in His noble book, وَأَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُدْرِكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا تُفْتَنُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says to us in His noble book, do the people think that they will be left alone because they say, Amen, we believe, and not be tested? And this is what happens to the Muslims sometimes. And how do we know that this is the mindset? Because when we get hit by the musibah, the difficulty, we start to complain. We start complaining, we start whining, we start crying. And if it was from the religion, we would tear our clothes off of our backs and slap our face, even though we've been told to have patience. Trust me, be patient. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Even though the people memorize this ayat, be patient. Indeed, Allah is with those who are patient, meaning Allah will help the patient and aid him and protect him and give him what it is he needs. We still suck our teeth and kick our cars and yell at our families when the difficulty hits. And it's not the actions of someone who understands that they should be patient. So it's good in theory, but not in action. Now, it's a good theory for the Muslims, and it shouldn't be a theory. It shouldn't be a theory, but rather it should be something that is actualized from us. Because of what? Ibn Kathir Rahimahullah Ta'ala said, based upon this ayah, it is inevitable that you're going to be tested. And let's not say you, because it's the general you. We will be tested. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. From a hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, أشد الناس بلاء الأنبياء ثم الصالحون ثم الأمثال فأمثال. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the people that will be tested the most, ashaddu, the most severe, first are the anbiya, the prophets, as-salihun, the righteous, فأمثال فأمثال, and then those after them and those after them. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, يُبْتَلَى الرَّجُلُ عَلَى حَسَبِ دِينِهِ فَإِنَّ كَانَ فِي دِينِهِ صَلَابَةٌ زِيدَ لَهُ فِي الْبَلَى. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, indeed a man will be tested according to what? The level of his religious commitment. Here it says, وَدِينِهِ, according to his deen, according to the level of his deen, according to the level of his iman. We have to stop, contemplate for a second. You're only being tested according to the level that you believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla and practice your religion. But the Anbiya was Salihin, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar, Uthman, Ali, they were tested different. Abi Huraira was tested different. Muawiyah tested different than you. And this is why we look back at them. Because their test was severe, more severe than yours. And we still suck our teeth and kick our cars and curse. You know, the 4-letter words that we shouldn't say. We're upon the deen of Islam. But a man is going to be tested according to the level of his deen. Subhanallah. And the reason behind this is what? Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا فَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Why? You know, the Muslims, they always want to know why. When you read the story of Suleiman and the Hukuk bird, and where he went to Bathsheba, and then he returned to tell Suleiman what he seen, the Muslims, they ask questions. Where did he go? What land was he in? What did Ishada? If it was important, Allah would have mentioned it in the Quran or in the Sunnah. Now, but it has no importance. But what has importance? We should be wondering, why are we being tested? Why am I being tested? Allah Azza wa Jalla said, indeed, we tested those before you. And Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is testing you so he will know who's truthful and who is the liar. Truthful about what? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Who told the truth about the kalimatain, the kalimatayba? When they took shahada, when he signed the contract, Allah Azza wa Jalla is testing us to see whether or not we're going to hold to our contracts or whether we're liars. Some of the people say, oh, it's enough that you just make salah. That's just a small part of the contract. I fast the month of Ramadan, that's a small part of the contract. I Hajjul Bayt, small part of the contract. This contract, when we look at it, it is everything that we see in the Quran. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, indeed, listen. He said, indeed, every ayat in the Quran, every ayat is a test on the believer. Every single ayat. Even if you read something and you say, I'm not doing it, you have to hold that principle. You don't drink alcohol. You don't spread ghibah or namima. You don't backbite and spread tales. That's not you. But you have to hold to it, meaning if you find that people doing it, you have to warn against it. You don't allow it to happen. You say, look, it doesn't concern me, I don't do it. No, it concerns you. Part of holding this contract is staying away from it or warning people against it. Now, the other part, doing it and calling others to do it. Part of the contract. So Allah Azza wa Jalla wants to know who from among them is truth, who from among us is the liar. Now someone will say, what? Does it mean that in order for Allah to know, we have to do it? No. Allah Azza wa Jalla is Al-Alim. He's the all-knower. It's already written in the Lahu Mahfuz. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows what it is you were going to do before you did it. Who is it for? It's for you. For us, we're making the claim to be Muslim. We're making the claim that we stand firm upon the Shahadatain. Either what we say or do is going to be for us or against us. You see, when it's for us, we see it. You see you making salah. You see you trying to be upon khair. You know, when you're standing in the candy store and the owner, he goes all the way to the back of the candy store. Shaitan says, take a candy bar. He won't know. You stand upon Islam, you say, no, I will be that in Shaitan. That's when it counts. This is when it counts. For those people, when he leaves, he take. He don't know. He buys something else and he leaves. What could that? The one who sins is the liar. And the one who remains upon Amil Salih is the truth. So Allah is testing us. Now, if we're talking about the musibah, the difficulty, Allah is testing you to see if you're from among the truthful or you're from among the liars. Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, we find that Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions the ones before you, those who were before you, they were tested. He said, who were they? He said the first of them was Noah alayhi salatu wasalam. And he said that Noah alayhi salatu wasalam was beaten until he fainted. And then Allah Azza wa Jal rescued him by having him build the ark, and he embarked upon that ark, and it destroyed all the evildoers and his enemies and left him victorious. He said, and from them is Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who was thrown into the fire. And Allah Azza wa Jal commanded it to be cool for him. And he emerged from it victorious, in a state of safety. He said, and from them is Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam, whom his father Ibrahim laid his head down to slaughter him like an animal. And Allah Azza wa Jal provided for him a ram in his place and brought him away from it in safety. He said, and from them is Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, who he was a shepherd. He said Allah Azza wa Jal raised him in rank to the point where he spoke directly to Allah Azza wa Jal Jalla Jalaluhu. Allahu Akbar. And he said clearly the last of them is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was an orphan. And he faced all types of hardship when he was given prophethood. The difficulty in war and outside of war is known that he, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the battle of Badr, that his tooth was knocked out. He was hit so hard across the head that his helmet was embedded into his head, that Ali said the helmet of the Prophet was so deep in his head that I had to bite down on it and pull it out with my teeth. And every time we put water on the wound, he bled more, so we stopped because we thought it would kill him. But Allah Azza wa Jal caused him to conquer Mecca without fighting and gave him victory and aided him in finishing his mission. Alayhi salatu wassalam. This is what we have to look at, baby. The Sheikh said, what do we learn from this statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, looking back at those who were before us and taking into account their difficulties and how Allah Azza wa Jal saved them and brought them out of it, no matter what. Whether they were being thrown into a fire and actually entered into it, Allah caused the fire to be cool. Did we hear anything about Ibrahim yelling out, asking Allah to stop it? Do we see any sucking of teeth from Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam? No. From the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam? No. We find them being patient. Inna Allaha ma'a sabirin. Indeed, Allah is with the one who is patient. The Shaykh says, so what did we learn from this? He said, we learned that which Allah mentions in His own book. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Indeed, in the midst of difficulty, there's ease. Indeed, in the midst of difficulty, there's ease. This should change the mindset of the Muslim, of the believer. Because Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, what is the meaning of this ayah? How should we understand it? What is Allah saying to us? Some of the Mashaykh, like Shaykh al-Taymin, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, we find that there are two eases and one difficulty. Two eases and one difficulty. How is it understood? Because before the difficulty came down on us, we were in a state of ease. Then the difficulty occurred. Then Allah sent down more ease. So there's always two eases before one difficulty. What are we complaining about? We complain because we don't understand. You know what Sheikh Al-Bani, he says, faculty shade on that. A man can't give what he doesn't have. Not only that he can't give it, what's meant by this not being able to give? Either to give it or to practice it. If he doesn't know, he can't do it. If he doesn't know, he can't maintain it. If he doesn't know, he can't uphold it. So he reverts back to his intellect, his aql, and his desires. But we don't find that from the messengers, the prophets and messengers. We don't find this type of action. And we claim to follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see, that's what the Shahadatain speaks about. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Part of the contract is not I believe in him, I love him, and the ihtiba of Muhammad, and I follow him. It doesn't mean that you dress like him only, have a thobe, have a beard, kufi, wear my pants high, hat collar. That's cosmetic. We can put these clothes on a non-Muslim. But to follow Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is in his adab, in his manners, in his behavior. So we want to behave in the way that he did. When he was attacked, when they were put out from Medina, had to live in a ditch without any water. When him and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had to run and seek shelter in a mountain to hide. We want to respond like that. Because we claim, I'm on the Sunnah. Well, yeah, this is part of the Sunnah. It's not just dressing and having a look, but rather it's behaving like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when you know that these two eases are going to come and it's been decreed, because this is what we say, I believe in the qadr, the good and the bad of it. I believe in the qadr, divine decree, the good and the bad of it. This is known, look, when the test comes and you have this knowledge that whatever Allah has decreed, whether it is good or bad, I'm content with it. I'm content. When the difficulty comes and He decrees, I'm patient. It's the knowledge. When the khair comes, when the good comes, I increase in the ibadah, and I'm thankful. I'm grateful to Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's the response. You see, when good used to happen to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, someone bring him a good statement, a good word from somewhere. He used to make one sujood, a Shukr. The prostration of thankfulness. What do? We praise ourselves. Look at what I did. I'm sure glad I did that. Because if I didn't, this would have happened. You want to say, Allahu Akbar. And just go down on his face. You do that? Most of us are too amazed at ourselves. Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, the meaning of what Allah is mentioning here, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. He says it means whatever troubles that the creation encounters, Allah always provides a relief with it. We have to understand ma'ahu. That Allah always provides a relief with it. He didn't say ba'da, after it. He said with it. What does he say? Ibn Kathir, he said, indeed the relief does not come after a difficulty, but rather it is provided with it. So when difficulty comes, it comes with the ease. The ease is with it. You can't see it. You can't see, you can't know. You don't have any knowledge of the ghaib. This is why we shake with fear. This is why we worry, because we can't see it. And this is the point. Allah Azza wa Jal is al-Alim. He's the all-knowing. And you're relying upon Allah Azza wa Jal. And we have these ayat wa hadith to aid us in understanding how we should respond to the difficulties that's happening to us. And you mean to tell me right now, I'm being told that whenever a difficulty comes down on me, the ease is with it, it doesn't come after it? That means that the ease is absolutely positively coming. That changes your attitude when you understand it. So when it hits you, you don't become sad. You may become a little sad, but you don't become depressed. You're going to jump off the roof, shoot yourself in the head. See, the other people don't have this knowledge. The ease is coming. I don't care how difficult it's getting. The ease is coming. Somebody may say, well, what about a person who's terminally ill? And they're in pain. And then they die. Wallahi wa billahi, death was the ease. Well, you have to understand that Allah promised, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So when the person dies, we go, oh, he died. No, Allah relieved him of his difficulties, his pain. That was the only relief that person can get. But we don't have that knowledge. This is why Allah Azza wa Jalla is al-Alim. What appears to us to be bad is actually good. And the suffering was the removal of sin. And when that person is purified, Allah brings him back to himself. But we don't understand. And this is what has to be understood. May Allah Azza wa Jalla aid us and increase us in Iman. Ameen. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran wa ba'd. Imam al-Jawzi rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, when we look at difficulty, he said we should treat it as waves in our life. He said the same way when you go to the beach, you go to the shore, and you see the waves coming in, and you treat each wave differently based upon the size of the wave. He says, so you find yourself standing on the shores and the waves come in and they're as low as your feet. Well, why you handle it like it's no problem? You may even move around and let the water hit your ankles and go back out. He said, but when you're standing there and the wave is bigger and stronger, he said, you make yourself firm in the sand. And so when it hits you, you control your movement, the weight of your body. So it hits you above your knees and it goes back out. He said, but some of the waves, when they come in, they're so big that you turn your back and you ride it in. This is why in the beginning of the Khutbah, we said just ride it out. Because if you've been on the beach and you roll a wave in, it puts you down on the sand easily. And then it returns back out to the sea. Just ride it out. Lastly, Imam Ahmed, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said we find from Allah's wisdom that He put the word sabr in the Quran 90 times. So when you see this, the light should go on. How important it is for us to be patient, no matter what. He said Allah Azza wa Jal mentions to us in His noble book, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. He said, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, oh, you who believe, have endurance. Have endurance and patience. These two go together. Can't separate them. They're married to each other. And He said, what means make yourself firm and ready against your enemy. From every angle that the enemy comes at you, be prepared. Have yourself ready. He said, and fear Allah, in hopes that you will be successful. Subhanallah. Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us in this ayat to have patience but with endurance. Because you don't know how long the musibah is going to be on you. You don't know how long the problem is going to be on you. You have no idea. You can't see it. It may be 1 second. It may be 1 hour. It may be 1 week. It may be 1 month. It may be for 1 year. Or it could double that. You don't know. So like Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions to those who are out on the battlefield, and wallahi, this day-to-day life is a battlefield. Make yourself firm and protect yourself from every angle that these problems may come. And have patience and endure, because some waves are big and some are small. Some of the waves may go over your head, but hold your position and have endurance. And fear Allah, meaning don't let these problems that are coming down on you cause you to result to do something sinful. Gotta pay my rent, man. Just lost my job. So if I take this money and I flip it, I will be nothing in that. I'll be able to pay my rent. That's not fearing Allah. That's not being patient. That's taking things into your own hands. You'll always, we will always mess up when we do this. But we hold firm and ask Allah and seek His aid and His assistance and try to do only that which is right by fearing Him, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. You'll be from among the successful. And we ask that Allah Azza wa Jalla to give us success and aid us and help us and increase us in patience and strengthen us so that we'll be able to endure the trials that come. And we ask that Allah Azza wa Jalla to allow us to deal with every situation upon knowledge. Upon knowledge. May Allah Azza wa Jalla forgive us and aid us. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.